corrupted. You do what the system demands, even if it demands bribery, do that. But once you reach the top notch, then probably you try to change the system.
No, and so look, I think the part of your proposition is, I agree with it, which is that we need to change the system. But to believe or to be deluded, I am not deluded that I can change the system. If I could change the system, then we would not be having this debate. I would have done this many years ago because I suffered as a consequence of the system. So I think this is not about one person saying I will rise to the top and I will change the system. We have a prime minister, we have a parliament, and they haven't changed the system. This is about a collective consciousness about what ails our government, what ails our parliament. There is a fundamental disease that is sort of corroding the entire concept of our constitution and government.
But why are you not recommending that she stands up?
No, I would not.
Fights an individual or collectively? I mean, you've got, what, 150 people out here.
No.
They collectively decide, okay, we're going to stand up against it. They can make a difference.
No, I agree with you that collectively fighting the system, which is what Anna Hazare's mobilization is doing, which is that civil society is waking up and saying enough. And we are fighting the system. There are many people in parliament who are fighting the system. But to actually go into a business, invest shareholder capital into it, get burnt, bruised, and then find out that you are in the wrong place, why make the mistake that many people have already made?
Okay, but it's a bit discouraging, isn't it?
Well, it's totally discouraging. I would recommend such a person to be in the system, fight it, and try and bring more people who are guilty to the law. Bring them to the courts.
Okay, we're going to take a question from the gentleman at the top. Yeah.
You want us to be in the system and stand against corruption, but seeing the instances of the mining mafias, the people, means the IAS officer and the IPS officer were crushed under the bulldozers. They were standing against corruption, but what happened to them? They were killed.
Well,
how can we stand in the system?
I said in the initial stages that the Right to Information Act, which has come into being in the last few years, has been rapidly used by a large number of citizens. We find that those people who get involved in exposing these crimes are also being targeted, and some of them have been killed. But it doesn't mean that all of us should sit here and listen to somebody on the other side to say that you don't get into the system, don't expose the crime, and totally run away from the system. No, that's how.
No, Satish,
I'm sorry.
No, you're misrepresenting what I said. I am saying, if I'm advising a young entrepreneur, I don't want you to do what we should be doing. The point I'm making is, you will invest capital, you will invest somebody's money, you will borrow loans. I don't want you to do that and set yourself up for disappointment. If you have the capital, if you have the energy, and if you have the desire to create a business and a brand and a franchise, do it in areas where you can flourish, you can succeed. Why should you become Satish's weapon in fixing the system? This is my advice to you.
Kripalani, come in there.
Rajiv, you're sitting in Parliament. Your job is to fix the system.
That's what I'm saying. Let us do it. Why should I?
You're not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
Of course I am not doing it.
That's why all these people join us.
No.
Look how little faith there is.
No.
85% think government's to blame.
No, Tim, I am the first one to accept that politics have betrayed everybody in this country.
You do?
Yeah, I agree with it.
Right.
So there's nothing, if I don't agree with it, I'll be laughed out of this room. I know it. But the point is, as an entrepreneur, you have to be clear about whether you are an activist or an entrepreneur. Don't make the mistake of believing that there is such a thing as an entrepreneur activist. I was one and I went bankrupt.
Satish Manishindi, can you be both? Can you be both?
I can't be both. I'll have to choose one side. And that's why I'm asking you to.
Activist and entrepreneur.
You can be an activist and an entrepreneur. There are a number of them who have existed in the system and exposed those deals. It's only if you're in the system you can expose what's happening.
I think, all of us going forward had to take multiple roads, in the sense that you are a businessman or you're a teacher, you're in the media, but you also have to take part in civil society, as you said.
Okay, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave that question there. My apologies to all those who do have questions, but we're running out of time. We are now going to vote on the motion that there is no honest business in India. If you want to vote for that motion, that is the side represented by those on my right, you're going to need to press button 1. If you want to vote against that motion, the side represented by those on my left, it's button 2. Whichever button you want, please press it now. right, ladies and gentlemen, the audience has spoken and the verdict is in. 56% believe there is no honest business in India. 44% believe there isn't. So the motion has been carried narrowly. Let's just look at the swing from the vote before the debate. Before the debate, it was 47% who said there was no honest business and 53% who said there was. So we've seen, what is that, a 9% swing towards those who believe there is no honest business in India, towards the team on my right. All I have to do now...
Well.
just a last word, yes. How do you feel about that?
I'm not very happy that we have won. But you know, it's time that we change our system.
Rajeev, speak for your team.
None of us were good lawyers.
Lick your wounds.
We weren't good enough lawyers. We didn't make a good enough case.
All right. Well, all I have to do now is thank our distinguished speakers for coming tonight. Thank you for you, the audience, as well, here in the studio and around the world. From the city of Mumbai in India, goodbye. Thank you for coming. Goodbye.